Oh, look at that though.
There you go. I'm getting there.
Look at you. Look at you. This robot right here. Hey everybody, Brad Sislow here at Club Champion with Dan Petrarca, and we are holding some awesome products from SRIXON in 2025. I'm holding the new ZXi Driver, 3 different models, unbelievable stuff. I know you have something that everybody's been dying to try, the new ZXi 7 iron?
Yep, ZXi 7.
Hearing they're softer, we're gonna put that to the test, as well as a new fairway wood, some new loft sleeves, some new tech from SRIXON. Can't wait for you guys to see them. Let's get into it, man. Let's go check out what this is all about. We got the ZXi 4, and I think everybody wants to know what the difference in the 3 models are, and I will be happy to admit that I've played the ZXi line or ZXi 7s for quite some time, and these irons are a little different this year. And I think the biggest noticeable change you're gonna see and feel is how much softer they are. And that's something I noticed. So I'm kind of eager to hear what you have to say about it. But when you look down at that iron, while it's their most forgiving iron, what are your initial thoughts of how it looks?
It looks good. Looks really good. I play the ZX 7s right now. Okay. So this is at address. You know, it looks just a hair bigger, but a very similar profile.
Yeah. And in all 3 of these lines, what's great about the lineup, and for the past several releases from SRIXON, is that you can mix and match, and we've designed some combo sets, and you know, played a few. And I don't know if you even considered maybe playing the 5 and maybe some of those long irons, but you know, it looks like they belong to with each other for the most part. Yeah,
definitely.
Why don't you hit a couple, and love to hear your feedback on this.
Yeah,
still got the same old kind of VT sole. It's a little redesigned. You know, in the past, I know a lot of players think this iron is just for a digger, you know, because of the V sole, and it's really for everybody. Really gets through the turf nice and fast.
Yeah, that felt good. It's going high.
Yeah, and that's what it's designed to do. I mean, with the mainframe construction, saves a little weight. They can kind of tuck it in some spots where we can launch that ball a little higher. Sure. What's really neat is because they're softer, we can tweak the lofts a little bit more.
Okay.
You know, if some of these irons, get a little bit stronger lofted, we can weaken them pretty easily. You said it kind of from the beginning, while it's their most forgiving iron,
right?
You know, it's not super big on the top line, not a ton of offset, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely not like something that I would immediately look down and be like, no, I don't like the look of this. I don't like playing it. Okay. Definitely, well, yeah, it's very similar to the ZX7 and ZX5 line.
Yeah. Let's hit one more, and then we'll throw the 5 in.
Yep.
I mean, it sounds so fast.
Yeah, it does. And you feel it with that hollow body frame, that it's going pretty fast.
I mean, the smash factor is maybe a little too spicy.
Yep.
You know, it starts to kind of come through a window that's maybe a little bit lower. Right. Maybe going to be a little hard to stop. And, you know, I think when a lot of players start to look at some of the spin numbers with irons nowadays, it used to be so common to say whatever iron it is, times it by 1,000, and that should be your spin number. And it's okay to see that spin a little lower nowadays, because it's a higher launch, you know, and less spin. They kind of equal each other out, but it's how we can stop it. And so that's why looking at like height and land angle is pretty important. But you know, I don't necessarily know if you throw that in the bag, but it's really cool how it sounds.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's try the 5.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, all right, Dan, so you got the ZX5 right there. You know, just initial thoughts when you put it down. Comparative to the 4, what are you noticing?
Definitely a thinner top line. The offset's maybe just a little less, but overall, I mean, it's very, very similar club, but just a little smaller.
When you say smaller, is it like the blade length? Do you feel like the top line? Is it?
Oh, I feel the top line. The top line is immediately what I'm looking at. Is that the top line is definitely a little smaller than the ZX4.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's see you hit a few.
Yep. A little off the bottom on that one.
It definitely came down a little flatter.
Yep.
A little flatter window. Flatter flight.
Yeah. Feels good. Definitely doesn't feel like that ZX4. I mean, this definitely feels a little bit more solid than that ZX4 was, but they both feel really good so far.
Okay. A lot of similar features and benefits to the, in the whole line. When you talk about, the VT sole, kind of the softer feel this year, You know, you can definitely hear it's a little slower. It's not quite as fast.
Mhm.
Lofts obviously are a part of that,
Right.
but it doesn't sound like it's as nuclear as the 4.
Yep.
You know, and
Definitely.
again, and we're testing some 6 irons here, so it's not exactly like we want the ball to go, you know, 240. That one sounded
Yeah,
great.
that one was crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little
But
left.
it didn't
Yeah.
jump on you though. Like it didn't, you know,
No.
go too far. It's controlled, and it's kind of a controlled power
Yeah, I
between these.
definitely feel that ZX4, you know, you hit it on the dead nuts, it could go good 5-10 yards farther than your normal.
Yeah, it makes sense. Another good one.
Yeah.
You could definitely
feels
see how somebody could play the 4s and 5s together in the same set, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot of little, you know, discrete kind of features in the toe and how they can mix and match a little bit and still have the same, you know, soul. And for a player that's maybe looking for a little bit more height, you know, would want the 4 and the long irons, and 5 and more, maybe those more controlled irons, like, you know, 7 on down. And they kind of do that a little bit with their grooves on the new line of ZXi, of controlling the width and the depths of some of the grooves, so they get really consistent spin on these irons from, you know, between, let's say, some of the long irons and short irons.
Sure.
Cool. All right, let's try the 7. All right, Dan, so the ZXi 7, newer version of what you've been playing.
Yep.
Looking down at it, anything you notice it address?
Yeah, the top line just consistently goes lower, a little smaller top line. Actually, compared to my previous model that I have, the blade looks like it's a little shorter from end to end.
Just a smidge, yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I mean, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is like a half an inch.
Yeah, right.
It was small, but if you've been looking at an iron for 2 seasons and you put some down next to it, you can kind of see how they belong together. The biggest thing here is you're probably going to feel a little bit softer. Definitely easier for, you know, any fitter to bend, you know, loft a little bit more. But let's give it a few swings with it. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, it feels good. That feels very soft too.
Wow, was that good? I definitely see a little bit loss of speed on this. It's going to be more noticeable when you go from, you know, the 4s to the 5s to the 7s. But actually, ball speed across the board right now is almost dead nuts the same. Heights, you know, they kind of belong together. You know, I expected the 4s to go a little farther than the 5s, and the 5s to go a little farther than the 7s.
Sure. Yeah, and after hitting them, I mean, I definitely see myself maybe going to a combo set with the 5s this year. You know, 4, 5, 6 with the ZX5, or the ZXi 5, and then, you know, the 7 through pitching wedge. So
is that because you're a new dad and don't play as much?
Absolutely, man.
Okay.
You got to get some forgiveness out of there.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it does. It feels really good too. Yeah.
All right, give me one more. Let's see if we can give it a little extra.
All right. Just a little off the toe. Try to get more out of it.
Yeah, you didn't lose that much though. I mean,
No.
And when you look at the back of that iron, you know, I think people are they're starving for a word or a phrase to say when you look at it, and like it's a cavity back, it's a muscle cavity. It's obviously not hollow filled, but it's just damn good looking.
No, it is. It is definitely. You know, and I'm not one to play a blade or anything. And you know, the way this looks, it's very minimal, but it also gives you that performance of, you know, ZX5 would.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it'd be easy for you to change, you know, from playing, you know, the previous model to this. I think it'd be an easy change, even though maybe a little bit smaller blade length.
Right.
But like you said, you know, going to maybe the 5s, you'd be interested in, if you could do it over again, which you might this year, is to play the 5s in a combo set.
Right.
Awesome. All right, Dan, what you have there is the ZXi Max driver. And I think if you remember, there was a ZX7, ZX5, kind of like the irons, kind of knew what was going on. This year, it's just the ZXi line, but it features 3 different models. That Max is going to be the most forgiving, kind of the highest MOI of the lineup. They kind of redesigned a little bit of the face, a little bit of the rebound frame, you know, make it a little bit faster. It also features, you know, a lot of adjustability. When you look at the bottom, there's a couple different weights that we can kind of fine tune some of the launch and spin there, as well as the loft sleeve, which is about 1.5 degree adjustment. So we can really do a lot with it, as you see kind of throughout the line. This is going to be the most forgiving. Let's see you hit a few with that.
Yeah.
Sounded fast.
Yeah, I definitely like the sound of it.
Definitely higher.
Uh-huh.
And that's what it should do. The max is going to be, CG is going to be pulled farthest away from it and low. I really, saw the kind of the crown in some of the, they call it the star frame crown.
Right.
And it's got a kind of a cool little pattern, kind of take a look at, discretionary, a little bit of variable face or crown. So kind of the thickness of it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does.
Got a clean matte finish.
Yeah.
Pretty friendly club to hit.
Yeah. I'd say they're going just a hair left, but it definitely feels pretty good.
Yeah, kind of easy to turn over. Then those three were kind of on top of each other.
Right.
Then like 3 or 4 yards carry. It's pretty consistent.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely a little high too.
Yeah, it should be. Look at you.
Right.
There's a robot right here.
Yeah. It might have been a little overcorrect.
You almost knew.
Yep, a little overcorrect.
Oh, look at that though.
There you go. I'm getting there.
I know you kind of pushed that one a little bit. Came back nicely.
Yep, definitely. Curious where that goes.
There's the left, yeah.
That's the left.
Just naturally, you probably,
yep.
And I would expect that from a driver like this. The Max being a little bit easier to turn over.
Yep.
The Max itself is going to be, like I said, it's that bigger, the biggest, fastest, highest MOI. CG is going to be back a little bit. We can play with the weights and kind of do that, but that's not the point of this. Is let's see what the next model does. Maybe it takes a little bit left out of play. Right. Maybe it'll look maybe a smidge smaller to your eye. Just not so much the CC of it, but more of the shaping of it.
Sure. Yep. Definitely.
All right, Danny, kind of the middle guy, the ZXi Driver, kind of best of both worlds. Not only is it high MOI, fast, forgiving, kind of everything.
Sure. Yeah, and immediately I'm looking down. It's definitely more appealing than the Max is for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see how this goes.
In CC again is they're both 460,
yeah.
But shape can definitely influence how it's going to look.
Yeah, that one felt a little harder.
A little harder?
A little harder than the Max.
Okay.
Still went a little left, but
naturally, how do you like to see the ball work?
Just a little right to left.
Okay.
I miss would be maybe more left. But yeah, just a little draw.
That was probably more off-center toe hit, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, definitely kind of see that ball start right, comes back a little bit.
Yeah.
How's the shape of when you look down at the face, how it frames the ball? They got some laser face milling there. How does that look to your eye?
I like it a lot. It's not like, completely matte black. It gives you some contrast to look at. It helps you line the ball up.
Yep.
So I definitely like the look of it at address.
Save the best for last.
Yep, that was a good one. Yeah, that's usually it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that felt good.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be a perfect candidate probably to turn down the loft a little bit. That would make the face angle, slightly open, take a little bit of the left out of play, bring that window down just ever so slightly to give you a little bit flatter lie angle. I think that would be the ticket. But probably overall, didn't seem as forgiving as the first one, as the Max.
Definitely, right.
You definitely get a little bit more feedback on that.
Yep.
But if I wanted to take the left out, I think you're probably the best candidate for the LS. Let's try that one.
Sure. Yep.
All right, Dan, there you got the ZXi LS.
Yep.
This one here is kind of really designed for that stronger player, the aggressive swinger. You got a little front and back adjustability as far as weights where, in the regular ZXi model, they were kind of toe and heel back a little bit. So kind of changed them, flipped them almost a little bit.
Sure.
Allows us, to bring down that ball flight a little bit, take a little left out of play. But again, we're setting these kind of standard, they're the same length, same swing weight, same everything.
Yep,
Nothing's changing between all three of these models.
Right. Yeah, and it's right when I put it down. Looks a little taller at address, which would make sense for the lower spinning model.
Like a deeper face, you mean?
Yeah, deeper face, not as elongated. So it definitely fits my eye, kind of similar to what I'm playing right now.
Sure.
Yep.
Wow, good ball there.
Yeah, Yeah, that felt
Did you
good.
feel like a little left, or was that the left swing that you had earlier?
Yeah, I kind of felt like it was the same swing I maybe had on that Max, but it definitely, was a lot straighter.
Okay.
And it's probably maybe something to do with the weighting and the club head.
Sure. Oh, this one's not going left.
No, this one is definitely not going left.
The first two definitely had a little left in them for us, but very comparable ball speeds. This one definitely seems to be going a little farther, carrying a little bit farther.
Yeah, feels good.
What's really amazing is when I think you're in the right head and you're confident on what it's going to do, that a better swing comes out, right? And I think when you see players, if I were to force you to play that Max, I think you could do it. I think we might be here 15, 20 minutes trying to figure out the right setting and everything. Yep. But this is kind of plug and play.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, and I don't have the quickest swing speed in the world for maybe this driver, but it's definitely suiting my eye, and I feel it a lot better going through my loading the shafts and everything, and at impact, it feels a lot better.
Yeah. When you look at the three models side by side, what do you think is the biggest difference, just clubbing behind the ball to you, between the three models?
The biggest difference is probably the Max to the LS.
Yeah, and is it more shape, and like where's it to your eye?
Yeah, it's the shape. It's definitely the shape. Like I said before in the beginning of this is a little bit more taller.
Yep.
That Max I feel like is more elongated towards the back. Not really what I'm used to. I feel like this is definitely something that I'm more comfortable with, and ultimately when I'm hitting it, when I'm swinging it well, it seems to be going right where I want it to go.
Yeah. When you look at overall, it's definitely give us the best grouping.
Right.
Went the farthest, went the fastest. Yeah. Kind of a no-brainer for you. And I would say both the Max and the ZXi model, they were both friendly. They both were able to easy to turn over. We probably have to work a little bit more on the settings and tweaking a little bit, to dial it in for you. But that LS is definitely took the left out of play and was faster.
Yeah, definitely. It felt really good.
So Dan, right there, we got the ZXi Fairway for this 2025. Adjustable loft sleeve, a lot of the same tech that was in the wood with the rebound frame. And, they kind of adjusted center of gravity a little bit between the 3, the 5, and the 7, kind of based on playability.
Sure.
What's your first take? Just down at address?
Down at address, I like the matte finish. I like this kind of ridge that they got right over the top line. I feel like that helps you with aligning it. Definitely the contrast with the lines as well, the grooves. So at address, it looks very clean.
Easy to look at?
Yep, very
easy.
I
think one of the things with like a lot of fairway woods, a lot of these fairway woods are getting very upright. I looked down at that and I just noticed it sat next to the ball nice. I don't know if it was a little bit flatter or some of the shaping, but looked pretty easy to hit. That sounded great.
Yeah, felt really good.
Didn't go left.
Did not go left, no.
Really good launch and spin, just kind of right out of the gate. Smash factor extremely high. Pretty fast.
Yeah, felt good. Maybe a little off the toe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels solid. Feels really nice.
I mean, it sounds unreal. That was really, really good there.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want it to go much farther than that, but that's also one that you can stop, right? It's not just a missile 3-wood.
Right.
We're getting some pretty good trajectory. What's interesting is, and I always say this, is that you look at some of these, peak height between, let's say, their driver, their 6-iron. There's not going to be too much variance, maybe a couple feet between each club, but we're seeing that kind of right trajectory, the right window, not only from the driver, but the 3-wood right out of the gate. You can play this pretty much from everywhere, right? Tee, off the ground.
I like hitting 3-woods a lot off the tee. And this is, a little bit bigger, which I kind of like.
Okay.
And it's also, it lays pretty flat as well. So I don't think I'd have a problem hitting it from the fairway as well. So
great.
I think it got the best of both worlds with this shape they got.
Let's see one more. Give it a little extra.
Yeah.
Good rip there.
That's good.
Really good. Nice and low spin, high launch, low spin. Kind of what you want in a fairway wood.
Yeah, definitely.
Very nice. Very nice. Good stuff there.
Yeah.
Dan, that was pretty cool. I mean, we saw some really neat things from a lot of different models, from what SRIXON has launched in 2025. I know the ZXi Driver, the LS, took a little left out of play. A lot of adjustability, a lot of great stuff there. The irons.
Yeah, really good stuff from SRIXON this year. Excited to play it.
That's super clean, isn't it?
Yeah, very clean. It adjusts. Yep.
A little bit softer. A lot of the great things always from SRIXON. A little bit more enhanced in 2025. Excited for you guys all to check this out in club champions near you. And thanks again for watching.